Donny Walker. So a friend of mine brought me a 395 chain brake assembly in. Keeps going through chain brake bands. See? Broken. Okay? Now, he's like, why do these things go through so many chain brake bands? So, here's what I'm going to show you. On the back of the cover here, right here, there's usually like a molded, like kind of little titty thing. Okay? So I'll show you on the cover that has it. This is actually a Chinese aftermarket cover, which I've just stole the band out of for this one, because this one doesn't work too good, and I'll explain that in a second. There's a little bump thing that needs to stay on this cover, and the reason you need that, to keep it aligned, or it gets offset, and it wears exactly where that one is broken, and then they break all the time after a while. And you shouldn't be slamming it on hard anyways. If you are cutting with it, just slam it on lightly and away you go. Here's the crankcase side of the saw, and you see there's this black grommet here. So when this cover is on the saw, that little titty unit thing is in that grommet. That keeps it centered, okay? The reason I'm stealing the band out of this Chinese aftermarket one is because it activated so easy. It was like click on, so it was like annoying. The person that was using it, I remember them telling me it was always the chain brake was coming on. If you notice how these ones work though, I'm going to click this one on and just hear the smack, right? Now that's locked hard, right? These suckers got a heavy spring in them, and they're hard to reset. You got to give them a real hard pull back. So I'm just going to show you now how to change this brake band. You do need a special tool from Husky, or I'll show you another way if you're a backyarder. Okay, so let's get the handle off first. You got a screw on this side. We're going to take out about 3/4 of the way out. Okay, not all the way out, because you got to get the little bushing out of here, okay? So you smack the screw. Boom, that bushing's going to come out now. Take the screw right out. The bushing. Now you still got that bushing in. Just come to the other side with your T-wrench. Give a little smack. There it comes out, and you lose it on the ground. Where are we at there? There it is. Alrighty. Nothing like live filming, eh? Okay, there's our bushings, our screw. Let's set it aside, and the band we're going to put in. So now the handle will come right off, okay? Don't take this part of the handle apart, this pin out of here. Everyone always does, and then they can't figure out how it goes back in. You don't need to take that apart. Okay, so now you got your cover exposed for your spring. And this is one thing I want to show you. You got to be really careful taking this apart. This spring is so powerful, and it's kind of preset in there, even though the chain brake is activated right now. So we're going to quickly take these screws out. Actually, I'm going to activate it completely. I'm going to show you something different here. Just give me a sec. Let's put the one bushing back in, and we'll just set it on, okay? So now that there's less pressure on the spring when we take it out, okay? Okay, handle back off, bushing back off. Now, that spring, it's still got some pressure in there though, and I'll show you this in a second. So when you're taking these 4 screws out, take 3 of them out, and the last one, keep your finger on this cover, because that spring wants to pop out of there. I've had these springs pop out and hit the fluorescent lights above me, and then all of a sudden Donnie's wearing glass all over his pretty gray hair. So we'll get the screws out, lay them there in your rag or your bench so you don't lose them. It's a Phillips screwdriver to take these out. These covers aren't cheap from Husky, that's why people buy the aftermarket ones, but they do stand up well if you keep that piece good. And the reason that piece breaks too, or it misaligns, is because your chains come off and it starts eating that. So what I do here now, I still got my finger on it. I'm going to put this rag over top of it so it doesn't fly out on me if it wants to come out. Okay, it's there right now. But see, it's got tension to it, eh? See? So what you want to do is have that rag over this. Get a long flat blade and go underneath the spring and pop it up out of there. Bang. Here's smacked a little bit, eh? So for me to put this back in, I'm going to have to put pressure on it and get it down in there, then put the cover back on. But here we go. There's the spring out of an OEM one. Here's the spring out of the Chinese one. That's the reason it was so easy to activate it all the time. See how much shorter it is? And the coils themselves are thinner. So that's a bad design. It'd be totally annoying. Okay, so let's just pull that one aside. Now we got our band here we got to take out, and our little activator arm here. So I take a tuning screwdriver, sharpen it to a point, or if you got a little punch, use a little punch. Take a little pin out here of this arm. Okay. Didn't quite come out. Let's put it in the vise so we got a little better pressure on it. Or just something over here, something's a little more solid. That's all we need. Okay, get my hammer. Usually not in that tight. Okay, so there we go. We got it pushed down enough. And you don't have to push it all the way. Just get a pair of side cutters and just pull it out of the rest of the way, okay? So set that aside. You're going to need that again. Now we're going to pull this out of here and the chain brake out. The old chain brake brand, I should say. Okay. There's another dowel pin that holds it in there. Kerplunk, get it off. Give this a little bit of a clean. Okay. Set that aside. Now we're going to change the band from the non-OEM one to this one. And I'm going to show you how to set the brake itself to put it back together. That's the struggle people have, is the way they try to put it back together. But through our thorough instructions here, man, I'm going to show you right now. All right, kerplink, it's garbage, metal bin. Okay, screw back in here. Come on. Yeah, I try to do this in the bush. It's a little hard. You gotta have the tools on the bench to do it. Okay, just a self-tapping screw. Okay, that's back in. Let's get our dowel that goes in the end of the band here. Put it in there. Get this back in its position now. Okay. That back up there. Okay. Now, take our one little pin that holds the activator arm. Set it on there. Grab my hammer. Okay, that's back in. Now, we gotta put the spring back in. The spring is normally full of crap. Let's give it a little blow. Good to go. Set the spring in, and now we gotta push it down into its spot. I usually use needle nose pliers. You stick it in the end of the spring and get it into the slot here. Okay, hold it down with your fingers. Watch it doesn't fly out on you. It's not too bad, this one. I've seen some, maybe they've weakened them up a bit, but some of them were really bad. Okay, now we'll get our cover and put back on with our 4 screws. Keep your finger on it so it doesn't pop out. Get a couple screws in and you'll be okay. One in the front, one in the back, then we can let go of it. Come on. Oh. See that? I let go of it, eh? God, Donny. Okay. Second screw in, now we're okay. It's safe now. Let's get the other screws in. These are similar to 288s, some old 272s, 266s, all with this inertia style chain brake. So inertia means that it can, not by just hitting it with your arm, it can be activated by the weight, and that's why these handles have a certain weight into them. So if the saw gets really bumped hard or something, it'll whang. It'll put the chain brake on by itself, okay? So now you see your band isn't set, right? So now you got to figure out how you're going to preset it. Well, you don't do it with the handle. You get yourself this beautiful tool from Husqvarna, or you can make one like this. So basically, this has got a 6mm bolt here, because I believe I broke this one before, so I just put a bolt in there and welded it. Then I got this little pin here. So I'm going to go over to the vise here now. You got to have it in the vise to set this. It's pretty strong, okay, to set that spring. You get it in your vise. Talking to a fella yesterday that rebuilds old vintage vices and sells them. I showed him this one that I need a new jaw for, so maybe I can make one for it. Okay, off topic, sorry. Okay, take this tool, the little pin part goes into this bracket here that's like the spring-loaded kind of thing for their handle. Then the bolt here, you come around the side here, you just pull this, and look at that, spring's locked. If you don't have this set up, what I did a bunch of years ago, I was in a camp and I didn't have that tool. I took a big flat blade screwdriver, I think maybe it was actually a bar wrench, and I took and I made a groove in it like this, okay? So this was like a little horseshoe kind of thing, eh? Then I was able to actually get in there like this and push like heck, and then finally got it to work, and it was hard to do. Where this tool, obviously you have the leverage to do it, right? Okay, so let's just activate it. Okay, see that? That's pretty strong, eh? And let's reactivate it, set it again. So now it's set. You're good to go. Now you can put your handle on. And the handle itself, like I said, you didn't need to take this other stuff apart in it, eh? So simply now, get the handle, slide it on like so. Put the one bushing on the one side that the bolt's going to thread into. Give it a little tap. Kind of set it in there. Okay. And our other side, where the bolt goes. And take your 4mm scrunch, T-wrench, whatever you want to call it. Tighten her up. Butterfingers. Okay, there you go. It's complete. Let's activate it. See that? Watch this. The weight of it. See? The weight of that sets that, okay? If your arm didn't hit it. That's what you call an inertia chain brake. Yeah, and these suckers are strong. Yeah. So there you go. Kevin Tuddy, whose it is. You got to have this piece, but you're going to go through more. I actually gave him a used clutch cover yesterday to get him by cutting today. He got a bunch of big wood he needed to get bucked up today, so I went and lent him another one. So, yeah. So what you could do with this, I have done, is drill this out and thread it and put like a 6mm bolt in there, so the head of the bolt, like an Allen bolt, is sitting out there. So that way it'll connect back with that bushing. That's a fix for it. I have done it, but I don't do it all the time. Most of the time, the clutch covers could be cracked over here and stuff, so it's pretty much done its life anyways. But this one will still work. This band will get them by for a while until that happens again. Keep your chain brakes in good shape. They save lives, save legs. They're a hell of a lot cheaper than trying to buy a new leg, if you could buy a new leg or a prosthetic one. And they're like friggin' 20 grand or something, man. So there you go. That's Donny Walker's chain brake schooling for the day. Keep your saw in the wood, not in your leg. Stick in the ice, you're rubbing around. Have a great day. It's Tuesday. I did a video earlier on that ultrasonic cleaner. It's pretty cool. Now I can start cleaning up some old carburetors I got for some old vintage stuff and other parts too. One fella said, yeah, he likes to use like walnut shells to sandblast cylinders like that too. And I thought, hey, that's a great idea. Sandblaster would be awesome on cylinders, especially with that type of material. And it's not really damaging the metal too much or anything. But that was kind of cool how it cleaned that up. I did have to pull a bunch of the big chunks off it, but it worked. So hey, have a happy Tuesday. Keep smiling there. Love you all out there. Be safe, be kind, be happy. Have a good day. Bye.